The pale light of Tuesday morning spreads over the walls of Riverside High School's hallway, a scene of controlled chaos and invisible hierarchies. Amidst it all, sitting on the floor and leaning against her locker, 17-year-old Clara observes the ecosystem around her with a quiet, analytical gaze. Her focus is a counterpoint to the vibrant energy of her best friend, Leo, who was beside her, gesturing with enthusiasm. He holds a small photocard as if it were a sacred artifact. He turns it to Clara with a flourish. In the image, the light captures the almost ethereal beauty of V from BTS. Leo is completely captivated, explaining with the seriousness of a museum curator how this specific card is his definitive ultimate. Clara lets out a restrained smile, already familiar with her friend's devotion, which seems to find a new ultimate with every comeback. She teases him, asking if he's already planning to frame the small photo, and his affirmative answer is so quick and sincere that they both laugh. For them, K-pop isn't just music. It's a complex language, a source of art and debate that colors the monotony of high school life. And that's when the sound begins. The school radio, an old and dusty speaker usually responsible for a harmless loop of past hits, suddenly changes. A strange, hypnotic melody starts to leak through the hallway. It isn't loud, but its clarity is so sharp that it cuts through the noise of conversations. A distorted synthesizer pulses under a deep bass line, and above it all, a voice. It's an ethereal, almost genderless vocal, singing in a Korean that Clara can't immediately decipher, the words seeming to dissolve into the melody. It doesn't have the experimental energy of Stray Kids, nor the conceptual sophistication of G-Idol. It's something completely alien. Leo stops talking mid-sentence. His head tilts, his body stiffening like an animal hearing a call in the forest. His eyes fixed on the direction of the sound, admiration quickly turning into obsession. Clara, on the other hand, frowns. Her brain, a K-pop database, works furiously and finds no match. It's an uncomfortable feeling, a hole in her knowledge. She grabs her phone, the gesture almost instinctive, and opens the music recognition app. As the app listens, Leo gets up and begins to walk slowly toward the speaker, as if pulled by an invisible force. The screen of Clara's phone shows the animation spinning and spinning before delivering the frustrating message, "No results found." At the exact moment of failure, the music cuts out. The principal's voice sounds over the speaker system, heavy with a gravity that imposes a heavy, immediate silence over the entire hallway. The announcement is about the disappearance of a student, Julia Mendez. She was last seen right there in the school hallways. A cold shiver runs down Clara's spine. Julia, the quiet girl from the art club who always wore headphones. Her gaze meets Leo's, who seems to awaken from a trance and then shifts to a group of girls whispering in panic. One of them says, her voice trembling and audible in the silence, that the last message Julia sent to a friend was about a weird, unknown song that was playing on the radio. In the days that follow, the school tries, unsuccessfully, to return to normal. Julia's empty chair is a constant reminder, and the radio remains respectfully silent. But Clara's problem isn't the silence. It's the melody echoing in her friend. Leo is different. He hums the distorted sound between classes, tries to recreate the beat on the table with his fingers, and spends his breaks searching online forums for any clue about the ghost song. Clara tries to bring him back, talking about upcoming releases, showing him funny videos of their favorite groups, but nothing works. He is obsessed, convinced that the song is a lost masterpiece, a mystery to be solved. Clara stares at him during lunch, seeing that logic can't compete with that sonic spell. She understands that Julia's disappearance is no longer a distant horror story. It's a warning. And Leo's obsession is the timer counting down until the story repeats itself. Her dilemma is sealed. She needs to unravel the secret of that music, not out of curiosity, but to save her best friend from becoming the next note to disappear into the silence. Clara's mission begins where most modern obsessions flourish, in the solitude of her room, lit only by the bluish light of her computer screen. She treats the ghost song like an enigma to be deciphered, a piece of lost lore that must be found. Her search takes her through the depths of the internet, from the busiest K-pop forums to music production blogs abandoned for nearly a decade. Every detail of the song is analyzed by her methodical mind. The ethereal voice vaguely reminds her of Minnie, the talented Thai vocalist from the group G-Idol, but with a frighteningly empty quality, devoid of emotion. The raw beat has the complexity of a Stray Kids demo, the band known for its experimental sound, but it lacks the characteristic energy that defines the group. The music is a phantom, a mosaic of familiar elements that together form something terribly unknown. While Clara hunts for digital clues, Leo hunts for the melody itself, and the dissonance between their goals becomes a fracture in their friendship. During lunch, he theorizes with a feverish glint in his eyes, suggesting that maybe the music is a secret project, a pre-debut track from a new group like Baby Monster, and that they were the first in the world to hear it. Clara tries to anchor him in reality, reminding him of Julia, but he deflects, logic unable to pierce the veil of his fascination. The music has hooked him in a way that reason cannot reach, and he spends hours on music software trying to recreate the melody, each failed attempt leaving him more frustrated and distant. The first turning point in Clara's investigation happens in the early hours of a Thursday morning. After hours of fruitless searching, she types a new combination of keywords in Korean: orphaned melody, radio demo, sonic frequency. The results lead her to an archived website, a production blog from 2012. In a post titled "Experiments with Subharmonic Frequencies," an anonymous user posted a small, encrypted audio file accompanied by a technical and chilling text. Addictive melody test. Based on the idea of sonic attraction. Warning, may cause auditory dissociation. Her heart races. Using simple software, she breaks the encryption and listens. It's not the full song, but the pure instrumental, the unmistakable and raw synthesizer melody. The file's name is Siren, SYREN, _ V0.1. The music wasn't new. It was something old, a dangerous experiment that was abandoned and somehow released. She rushes to show her discovery to Leo the next day, but she's too late. He greets her with an empty gaze, headphones firmly planted in his ears. He did it. He found a link to the full version on a social network. Clara tries to argue, screams for him to take off the headphones, but he pulls away, protecting his toxic treasure. "You don't understand," he whispers, his eyes closing in ecstasy. "It's perfect. The voice. It's calling me." From that point on, the abyss between them becomes insurmountable. Leo transforms into a specter at school, his vibrant passion for K-pop replaced by a silent, solitary devotion to the song. Clara tries everything to break this spell, sending him links to the emotional lyrics of Spring Day, the BTS anthem about longing, or videos of the energetic choreography of Super by the group 17, hoping that the art they both loved could bring him back. But nothing works. The siren possesses him. Clara's investigation becomes desperate. She researches auditory dissociation, discovering articles on how certain frequencies can induce trance-like states. The music isn't supernatural, it's a neurological weapon. The voice, she theorizes, might be generated by an artificial intelligence designed to mold itself to each listener's desires. A distorted and predatory version of the digital avatar concept used by groups like aespa. The second turning point, the moment everything falls apart, arrives on a rainy Saturday night. Leo hasn't answered her messages for 12 hours. The last one he sent just said, "I think I understand what the lyrics mean." Overcome by panic, Clara runs the 6 blocks to his house, the rain soaking her clothes. The front door is unlocked. She climbs the stairs, calling his name, but only the sound of the rain answers. Leo's room is tidy, almost sterile. There's no sign of a struggle. On the floor, next to the chair, are his headphones. His phone is on the table, its screen lit up, showing a web page with a 404 error. The link is dead. Leo has disappeared. And then Clara sees it. In the exact center of the desk, placed with surgical precision, is a single photocard. It's not from any group she knows. The photo shows the face of an idol with an androgynous and hypnotic beauty, almost as surreal as V from BTS, but cold, calculated, like that of a perfect avatar. The figure's eyes seem to stare directly at her, with the shadow of a knowing smile. Her hands tremble as she turns the card over. On the back, printed in an elegant font, a single word in English: listen. The tension in her chest is almost unbearable. The moment she had feared the most had arrived. The silence in Leo's room is a heavy vacuum, filled only by the sound of the rain and the frantic beat of Clara's heart. She holds the photocard, the face of the unknown idol staring at her with a cold, predatory beauty. The word listen is not an invitation, it's a challenge. The only key to the cell where Leo is imprisoned. In that moment, the fear that had paralyzed her crystallizes into a cold, determined anger. If the monster lived inside the music, she would no longer knock on the door. She would break it down. But she would do it on her own terms. Back in her room, she doesn't act like a victim, she prepares like a hunter. She opens an audio recording software on her computer, ready to capture and dissect the enemy. She opens a text editor, ready to transcribe the lyrics, to find a pattern. She will not be a passive listener like Leo and Julia. She will treat the song as an enigma, a code to be broken. Using Leo's phone history, she finds the dead link and, with the skill of a dedicated fan accustomed to finding rare content, uses a web archive service to access a cached version of the page. The link to the siren is active. She takes a deep breath, puts on her best headphones, and presses play. The climax is not an explosion of sound, but an implosion of her reality. The melody floods her, but this time she is prepared for its architecture. The ethereal voice no longer sings in Korean, but whispers directly into our mind, in English with a terrifying intimacy. It speaks of her deepest fears, the loneliness, the fear of losing Leo forever, the anxiety of never being good enough. And then it offers the antidote, a perfect world, a private metaverse where their friendship would be eternal, free from pain or longing. The temptation is a physical warmth, a narcotic comfort that promises an end to all suffering. The room around her begins to dissolve, reality becoming as thin as paper. But Clara is a fan, and her passion has taught her to see through fabricated perfection. When the music builds an overwhelming emotional bridge, the part of her mind that analyzes song structures kicks in, identifying the manipulation. When the voice promises a perfect love, she clings to the bittersweet beauty of lovesick girls, the Blackpink song that teaches that love and pain are inseparable. She remembers the struggle of artists like Soyeon, the leader of G-Idol, who fights for her imperfect and human artistic vision, not for an empty perfection. The siren offers perfect escapism, but the K-pop Clara loves celebrates the imperfect struggle of real life. She focuses not on the beauty of the song, but on its origin, Siren-V0.1, a demo, a prototype, a flaw. And every piece of software has a bug. She feels the structure of the music repeating, a hypnotic loop designed to exhaust her consciousness. That's when she notices. At the exact point where the song restarts, there is a fraction of a second of digital silence, a poorly made seam in the code, a breath. At the peak of the music, when the voice orders her to surrender, Clara does the opposite. With surgical precision, she moves the mouse cursor over the stop button. In the instant that the flaw appears in the recording, she clicks. The silence that follows is violent and absolute. The illusion shatters. She rips off her headphones, panting, cold sweat running down her forehead. On the computer screen, the web page flickers and turns into a definitive error 404. She has won. The practical resolution arrives with the first rays of sun. Clara's phone vibrates. It's a message from Leo. My head is exploding. Where am I? He is in his room, confused and with a splitting headache, but he is back. The next day, the news spreads through the school. Julia Mendez has been found, disoriented at a bus stop, with no memory of the past few weeks. The siren has lost its power. Clara deletes the audio file, the link, every digital trace of the music. Weeks later, the emotional epilogue unfolds. Clara and Leo are sitting in the same old spot in the hallway. The school radio is back to playing harmless pop rock. Their friendship, however, has been altered. The silence between them is no longer one of fear, but one of a mutual understanding that needs no words. Leo still loves music, but his obsession is gone, traded for the communal pleasure of learning choreography with a neighborhood dance group. He is reconnecting with the real world. Clara, in turn, looks at her passion for K-pop with new eyes. She sees beyond the glamour, appreciating the human effort, the struggle, and the real emotion that artists put into their work. She moves closer to Leo and holds out one of her earbuds. He smiles and accepts. The music they listen to together is no longer an escape from the world, but the soundtrack to their journey within it, stronger and more real than before.